In October 2004, Rockstar Games released Grand Theft Auto: San Andreas for the PlayStation 2, and it quickly became more than just another entry in a popular series. It was the fifth main Grand Theft Auto game, following Vice City, but its scale and ambition made it feel like a major leap forward. Instead of building one city around a single criminal fantasy, San Andreas attempted to create an entire fictional state, complete with cities, countryside, highways, deserts, neighborhoods, and competing cultures. At the center of it all was Carl Johnson, better known as CJ, a character whose return home pulled players into a story about family, loyalty, corruption, and survival. San Andreas arrived at a moment when open-world games were still defining what they could be, and it helped set expectations for years to come. The game is set in 1992, inside the fictional U.S. state of San Andreas, which is heavily inspired by California and Nevada. Rather than using one real city as a model, Rockstar created three major metropolitan areas. Los Santos is based on Los Angeles, San Fierro draws from San Francisco, and Las Venturas is modeled after Las Vegas. This structure gave the game an unusual sense of movement. The player was not just exploring different districts of a city, but traveling across an entire region with shifting identities. Dense urban streets could give way to rural towns, forest roads, desert highways, and casino strips. That variety made San Andreas feel bigger than its technical limits, especially on the PlayStation 2 hardware it was originally designed for. CJ's story begins when he returns to Los Santos after learning that his mother has been murdered. He had left his old life behind, but home has not stood still. His former gang, the Grove Street families, is weakened and divided. Rival gangs have gained power, drugs have damaged the streets, and the people CJ once knew are surrounded by distrust. This setup gives the game a personal emotional anchor. CJ is not simply chasing money or influence at first, he is trying to understand what happened to his family and why his neighborhood has fallen apart. The story gradually expands from street-level conflict into a wider web of betrayal, corrupt authorities, and criminal opportunity across the entire state. One reason San Andreas stood out was how it connected its fictional crime story to recognizable real-world tensions. Rockstar drew inspiration from several events and conditions linked to Los Angeles in the late 20th century. The Bloods and Crips rivalry influenced the gang conflict. The crack epidemic helped shape the depiction of neighborhoods under pressure. The 1992 Los Angeles riots provided historical atmosphere for a city on the edge. The Rampart scandal, involving corruption within the Los Angeles Police Department, echoed through the game's portrayal of abusive and crooked law enforcement. San Andreas did not present itself as realism in a documentary sense, but it borrowed enough from real history to give its exaggerated world a sharper edge. Rockstar's development process reflected that ambition. A team of about 75 people spent nearly 2 years building the game, which was a large effort for the time. The studio conducted on-site research in the cities that inspired San Andreas, gathering visual, cultural, and environmental details that could be transformed into game spaces. Rockstar also consulted people familiar with Los Angeles culture, including DJ Pooh, Esteban Oriol, and Mr. Cartoon. Their input helped shape the feel of the world, from street culture to local atmosphere. This mattered because San Andreas was not just trying to be large. It was trying to feel specific, lived in, and recognizable, even while filtered through satire and action game exaggeration. From a gameplay perspective, San Andreas used a third-person perspective and gave players the freedom to navigate the world on foot or in vehicles. That basic formula was already familiar from Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City, but San Andreas expanded it dramatically. Players could drive through cities, explore back roads, fly aircraft, ride bikes, take on missions, or simply wander. The game's open-world structure encouraged curiosity. Instead of treating the map as a backdrop for missions, San Andreas made the map feel like the main attraction. Its geography created a sense of journey, leaving Los Santos, discovering San Fierro, reaching the desert, and finally entering Las Venturas all felt like stages in a much larger adventure. The three-city design also changed how the story felt. Los Santos grounded the game in CJ's family, gang ties, and the decline of Grove Street. San Fierro shifted the tone toward rebuilding, networking, and entering new criminal circles. Las Venturas, with its casino-inspired setting, pushed the story into bigger schemes and a more extravagant criminal world. This progression gave the campaign a sense of escalation. CJ begins as someone pulled back into a broken neighborhood, but over time he becomes connected to far wider systems of power and corruption. The map design and narrative structure worked together, making each major location feel like a new chapter rather than just another area to unlock. Critical reception was overwhelmingly positive, especially for the game's characters, narrative, open-world design, and visual presentation. Reviewers and players were impressed by the size of San Andreas and by how much personality Rockstar managed to pack into it. CJ became one of the series' most memorable protagonists because he had clear personal stakes and a visible connection to the people around him. At the same time, not every element was praised equally. Some critics and players pointed to uneven mission design, technical problems, and concerns about how race was portrayed. Those mixed reactions are important to the game's history because they show how San Andreas was both celebrated as a breakthrough and debated as a cultural object. The most infamous controversy surrounding San Andreas came from the hidden hot coffee sex minigame. Although it was not accessible through normal gameplay, modders discovered and used content inside the game's files. Once public attention grew, the controversy became a major issue for Rockstar and the wider games industry. San Andreas was briefly re-rated adults only, a rating that created serious retail problems because many stores would not carry AO-rated games. The incident sparked debate about cut content, rating systems, player modification, and publisher responsibility. For a game already known for violence, crime, and mature themes, hot coffee became a defining media controversy and remains one of the most famous scandals in video game history. Commercially, San Andreas was enormous. It became the best-selling PlayStation 2 game, with more than 17.3 million copies sold on that platform alone. Across all versions, it sold around 27.5 million copies, placing it among the best-selling video games of all time. Its success was not limited to its original release window. After arriving on PlayStation 2 in 2004, it was released for Windows and Xbox in 2005, then later appeared in enhanced versions and mobile ports during the 2010s. A remastered version followed in 2021. That long release history shows how San Andreas continued to matter across multiple generations of players, hardware, and distribution models. The game's legacy comes from more than nostalgia. San Andreas helped define what players expected from a major open-world game: a large map, multiple environments, cinematic storytelling, memorable characters, radio stations, side activities, and a strong sense of place. It was not perfect, and some elements have aged more visibly than others, but its ambition remains striking. The game took the criminal sandbox formula and pushed it towards something broader: part urban drama, part road trip, part satire, and part power fantasy. For many players, it became the defining Grand Theft Auto experience of the PlayStation 2 era, even as later games became more technically advanced. Grand Theft Auto 4 arrived in April 2008 and moved the series into a new generation with a different tone and more advanced technology. But San Andreas remained a landmark because it captured a unique mix of scale, style, and cultural reference at exactly the right time. It represented Rockstar's confidence in the open-world format and showed that a game could feel huge not only because of its map size, but because of the stories, places, and tensions built into that map. Nearly 2 decades later, San Andreas is still remembered as one of the most significant games of its console generation and one of the most influential titles in video game history. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.